Good morning, New Earth fam. Are you guys ready for having a beautiful 10:10 p.m. morning? I am. Well, let's get started. V0xy.com. That's Voxy.com. I own it. There's already another company that kind of does stuff that's like stupid, but I'm making it happen anyway because leet speak is cool. Anyway, let's go ahead and launch this off, guys. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use Azure, as the French would say, or Microsoft Azure. Azure. Azure, 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 Azure. All right, fuck it. Fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, fuck it. Okay, Microsoft fuck. We're going to use Microsoft fuck to create a virtual machine. So go ahead, drop this guy down, do virtual machine. From here, by the way, I have a 200 free credit, so that's good. We're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to do create new, and once I do create new, I'm just going to type some random letters. Actually, let's do a kill, right? So we're going to create kill. For the virtual machine name, call it evil, because why would it be good? For the availability options, if you really wanted to, you could select something in Microsoft fuck to to set this up. We're not going to do that. I don't need to. We're just going to go ahead and roll. We're going to roll with Debian 10 actually, because I like Ubuntu as well, but screw it, man. We could select different sizes if we wanted to, but this is plenty good for me. I'm happy here. If you really wanted to be secure, you would use an SSH public key for authentication. That would basically be like certificate authentication, which is that's smarter. But I'm going to use a password because I don't care about this server at all. I just don't care about it. It's a test, excuse me, it's a test server for test reasons, and we're not going to do anything useful with it. I'm just going to whoops. I'm just literally going to set this server up so you see how the process is. For public inbound ports, we are going to allow SSH, and we will allow these common web ports because we will be making it into a web server. Next, we're going to go to disks. So the OS disk type, we are going to use premium solid state drive, absolutely. Uh, right here for the default option, we have encryption at rest with platform managed key, or we could do encryption at rest with a customer managed key. I am going to just do the default option here. That's perfectly well. And then it's mentioning that you can add and configure additional data disks for your machine. We're okay. We're okay. We don't need to add additional disks. I don't think. So yep. So for that, we're just gonna continue right along into the virtual network. We have the kill VNet, that's plenty good. For the subnet, we're good there. For the public IP, we're gonna have a new evil IP. It looks like the NIC network security group. Basic is good. If you wanted to go in and configure more stuff, you can. That's on you. We're all set then. So the selected VM size, we can't even do accelerated networking, so that's good. If we wanted to do load balancing, we couldn't. We don't need that though. This is just a basic. This is just a basic free. So right here to secure your VM, enable this on your subscription. This will give you visibility into your security. Yeah, this is all good. Anyway, enable with managed storage account, recommended. We're happy here. Good, good. Yep. Awesome. So I think we're just about done here. If we wanted to install an extension, we could. We're not going to. We don't need any of this stuff. No host group. No. Yeah, Gen 1 is good. We could do Gen 2 if we wanted, but we're okay. So for tags, if we wanted to create tags, we could. We don't need to do this. So at this point, you've set this to be open. This is only recommended for testing. If you want to change that, we can. So right here, we're getting this retail price, right, at 7 cents per hour. We are not authorized to view subscription price. With this subscription contact enrollment, you may use your monetary commitment funds or subscription credits for these purchases. We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay. Everything is happy. Yep. So we have basic free, and that's all we need. So everything is good. Actually, we're at the very end. We're just going to click on create, and we will have a virtual machine being deployed here in just a moment. You can see to set this up, it was really not that hard, and you can, anyone I believe at this time can go get $200 free. Yeah, $200 free credit for Microsoft Fuck. So that's what I'm gonna call this, because I honestly I hate it, man. I hear people say Azure, I hear people say Azure, I hear European people say Azure, and it's like just call it Microsoft Fuck, man. They picked a stupid name. That's no one's fault that Microsoft picks dumb names for some stuff. You know, like Microsoft or Windows Vista, right? Like what the heck, man? These crazy people. Anyway, so we're good to go here. The deployment is complete. We can see, and right. Whoops. So we can click on download if we want to download the deployment details. Otherwise, we're fine to just actually click on go to resource. So once we click on go to resource, we will see we have a public IP address here. This is good. So from this, we are ready to rock and roll by just simply opening up a terminal. And inside of my terminal, I'm actually going to pop this right here, and I'm going to SSH. Okay, guys, well, as you can see, this is just kind of how life goes when it's 10:10 and then 10:20. You just kind of, 10 minutes are gone, and you're just sitting here updating a Debian box on a server you forgot your password for. Which I'm totally gonna skip over all the stuff, but anyway, we are good to go here. We're gonna do apt upgrade just one more time. Apt update, very nice. And then apt install Apache. Whoops, Apache 2. Yes. While that is going, we're just going to copy this IP, and once Apache 2 is installed, we will see we can load the IP address. So there you go. You can see it loads the default Apache page. From here, we can actually go over to our other browser window, and here we can swap these IPs. So save that IP, and you'll see it updates that there. But then we're also going to save this one here in case we want www. In my opinion, I hate www. I highly never recommend it to be used. In fact, I would highly encourage you to set up a redirection rule, like a browsing rule, to where anytime www is used, it just auto reroutes or auto redirects straight to the non triple dub version, because I hate it, right? The triple dub, you don't like it, nobody likes it, we all hate it, get rid of it. But anyway, the cool thing is that rather quickly you'll notice, actually, if I just like go here and I paste this in, which for some reason it did not want to copy for me, even though I totally did the right shortcut for copying, and then I paste it there. You'll see now we're actually loading HTTPS here, courtesy of Cloudflare. Now, this is not fully end-to-end encrypted using, using encryption on the server side of things. This is just Cloudflare getting in between there, and Cloudflare is kindly protecting the web browser or the web client traffic. So anything happening over on the Microsoft server side of things, right, that's not encrypted. We would need to install certbot and stuff like that. So actually, if we wanted to install certbot, we could just do yes, and we could configure Apache 2 with certbot and set that all up. If we wanted to through Cloudflare, we could totally do that. That's actually it's a good idea if you're trying to do something really secure, like a good secure website. But other than that, we can actually just do apt install PHP. It's going to ask us. We can do yes. Otherwise, earlier when we did apt install or apt install, could have done a -y at the end of it, space -y. That just forces yes, so you don't have to get prompted. But anyway, now that we have that, if we cd into var www html and we ls, we'll see indexed html is there. We're going to actually just rm that, which will delete that file. And now if we reload, we see directory listing is turned on. By the way, that is a feature we will turn off, and that's something we turn off in the settings. I'll show you that actually in a second, but let's go ahead and make an index.php file, and we're just going to do php echo 4 plus 3, right? And then we're going to write that out. If we reload, we should see the execution, the result of it having processed that math, and we do. So now we could actually do PHP info if we wanted to, which if we reload now, we see all sorts of info about like what's installed. So for example, if I search SQL in here, or let's see, actually, what's a good one? XML, RPC. Okay. So yeah, a couple extensions that come to mind are like, I think wget. I think I want to say there's PHP wget. I don't know, let me see. App install PHP wget. Nope, app install. Oh, curl. I know for sure curl. Okay, so it mentions curl in here, but let's just go ahead and install PHP curl. Yes. And then let's actually reload this and then search for curl again. No? Okay, so maybe service Apache 2 restart. Okay, reload this, search for curl. So now we actually see curl inside here. So we just had to restart the Apache server, but now we see curl. Another thing too is that, yeah, there's just all these different things in here. So, yep, kind of neat though, kind of cool stuff in my opinion. But anyway, going back to that idea of configuring your Apache, let's just make a test directory, and we're going to go to voxy.com/test. And if we are looking in here, you can see we're seeing this directory listing stuff turned on, and we don't really like that too much necessarily. So we're going to go into Etsy Apache 2 and ls. You're going to notice an apache2.conf for config, and so we're just going to open this guy up. And inside of here, if we scroll, actually Control W to search, and we're just going to do, let's see, directory. Okay. So right here where it says options indexes, we're actually going to do a minus, and then we're going to reload. But actually, we have to also restart Apache 2 as well. So like that. Oh, and it failed. So let's go ahead and search for minus indexes, And actually, let's just go ahead and remove that option and let's try to restart. Cool. There you go, forbidden. Awesome. So apparently I need to brush up on my Apache 2 config skills. But anyway, if we scroll all the way down to the very bottom, there's actually, there might be some, whoops, there might be something that says token. There's not. But what we can do is we can disable this crap. So that is like turning off the server banner in a way. So maybe we don't want people to know that we use Apache, or maybe, you know, or not that we don't use Apache. You can do that using a very particular like a modification that mods header data. But we can also just do this with turning. I want to say it's like server token or something. So like, let's just go to Google, Apache disable server token version, I don't know, something like that, right? So we've also got expose PHP inside of an INI file. We can do expose PHP off to disable that, which is probably a smart move. That's a good idea to hide that stuff if you don't want to be bleeding that stuff out. But otherwise, we're gonna do server signature off, and man, I swear there was like tokens. Okay, tokens. Hiding server signature configures a footer on server generated documents. Normal use, it's better to hide the whole signature. Okay, so this configures the response header. Got it. So this is going to show you just Apache. This is going to show you the OS as well. This is going to show you like all of that, right? So this, yep. Okay, so the safest basic setup is server signature off mixed with server tokens prod. So that's going to strictly only show Apache. But just for testing, we're going to go ahead and at the very bottom of our Apache config, we're just going to type server signature space off. We're going to write that and reboot our Apache server again. And if we refresh, we'll notice that's gone at the bottom. But if we have our web tools open, like so if I hit inspect, our web tools will open, and then we'll see network. If I do a refresh, okay, yeah, okay, browser, let's go here. Oh, I gotta clear this out. I'm silly. Okay, anyway, so if I am looking at this header data, we can see that the response, really? I was really thinking we were going to see a response here, but I don't know. Let's do server tokens prod, I guess. So let's pop that back open, go down to the very bottom and do server tokens prod. Okay, we'll reload this. Let's clear this out. Yeah, so we're still not seeing that. Okay, you know, that's fine. That's fine. That's good. I'm sure. I think what it has to do with is um we're being protected now by Cloudflare. So I really think that Cloudflare is getting between us. But if I, for example, pop back over to this and then I do a slash test, and here, let's clear that for less noise. So we can see, all right, so right there, server Apache. So if we pop back over here, so this is saved, we restart the server, and then we reload and see this bottom one. See right there, server Apache. You'll notice between these two different requests, we have one is giving away, one is bleeding out our Apache version right there, which an attacker can use. They can go and grab they'll fingerprint your server and just grab version numbers. And so if you're not updating or upgrading your Apache, this is a really easy server banner or a way for the attacker to just say, hey, here's what the version is, and all they're doing is running scans against all IP ranges. So if you're just bleeding out your server version numbers, which by default you are, you're just kind of a sitting duck, if that makes sense. And so it's just really important to know what you're doing really with servers, and that way you can go from just being a sitting duck like this to looking more like this. But then in addition, you have a patch, cycle to where every week or every so often, it's preferably more than once a month, you're getting everything patched and latest greatest, because the last thing you want to do is have a server sitting there that gets scanned, someone pops your box and destroys your life, right? That's not fun, not a good time. And anyway, there's more videos that will be coming into the future here, but I mean, I think for now we're off to a pretty solid start. The one other thing I guess I will showcase is just let's actually go into PHP and CD into 7.3 and into here. So here's our PHP INI file, and if we go back over here, we will see. We're going to go back over to the main site, and let's go ahead and just clear this out. So we're going to reload this. We're going to check this, and you will see that it looks like by default, actually, Apache is configured to not just bleed your stuff out. But just for the sake of really demonstrating that, we are going to search for expose, and for expose PHP, that is set to off by default. This is also going to take a server reboot to make that difference, but I just want to show you that it does take that server reboot. So since we've saved that file, we still do have to restart Apache for it to load in that INI. So we're restarting, we're going to reload, and if we click this latest one, we'll see right there, X powered by right there. So it's just bleeding out. And if we do /test, you'll notice on this test, we will notice that it's only showing server Apache, and there is a reason for that. The reason is that you are not using PHP when you're calling that, because that is just the server itself. Whereas with this, we are actually executing PHP, and PHP is attaching that along. So we can go back in and find, in our PHP INI that we want to set this back to off. And then if we restart that server again, we refresh, we will no longer see X powered by along with that PHP version number. So there you go, that's bleeding out. Attackers can see this as well, and then they can come after you this way. So this is just kind of a quick web hardening 101, that yeah, it's good to patch, and obscurity is not security, but it also doesn't make sense to give the attackers as much information as you can. Why help the attacker, right? So I'm not saying obscurity is a security method, but I will say that obscurity is a good way to make your network more mysterious to the attacker. It does not make sense to make your network more obvious to the attacker, or in really any way. It just does not make sense to help the attacker, right? So it's a solid plan. It's a solid idea to minimize the amount of exposure or exposed data. There are other ways to get versions for software. So if you have vulnerability scanners and you're like, oh no, what if this happens, or what if that happens? Well, then do credentialed scans, and they should be getting the PHP versions a different way. So for example, if we do that, you will see I just got my PHP version through, through the command. I mean, that was super easy just there. So, whoops, wrong thing. Yeah, so there you go. You can see we just pulled up the PHP version, and if you notice up here, that matches right up here with this. So 7.3.27, 7.3.27, all right there. Very cool. It shows our Zen engine. But anyway, that should definitely do it for us, guys. Thank you for kind of sticking around a little bit to watch this. And header, how to change Apache server name to anything right here. This is going to be the guide for that, in case anyone is curious. So it is the mod security setup. That's what I thought it was. So we could just do apt install. Oh my gosh. Lib Apache 2 mod security 2. Yes. Mod security 2. We don't even need the sudo because we're already, we are already root. And down at the bottom, we're going to do server tokens, set that to full. And okay. Sec server signature. Server service Apache 2 restart. Okay, let's try to reload that again. Cool, there you go, waffles. So now you can see the server is responding out that it's waffles. If you really wanted to confuse people at this point, you could just swap waffles out for a random Nginx. Cool. So there's definitely an error code. Let's go ahead and do service Apache 2 stop. Let's install Nginx again. There you go. So it liked that. So now if we reload this, actually, we see Nginx. And now Nginx really is installed. But if we do service Nginx stop, and we do service service Apache 2 start, we will see if we reload, we are back to where we began. So this shows that. So that's actually why I did that. If you were wondering, okay, why is this clown installing Nginx? That would be why, because I wanted to throw that in where we put Nginx inside of our Apache config, because I think that's funny. And now, if we restart, whoops, restart. Actually, I wonder if, no, I didn't think so. We do need to have restart. I was gonna say, like, I wonder if you start when it's already started, if it just restarts, that would make sense. Maybe to me, I don't know, but there you go. That's how that goes. And now at this point, we are running an Apache server that, to an attacker's eyes, they're totally thinking this is just an Nginx server when it's actually Apache. So if the attacker has the deception here to believe this is an Nginx server, in fact, if we outdated this to to, like, for example, say Nginx version 1.0 or 1.1, or you get what I'm saying, just something lower, outdated, that maybe a bot, maybe a crawler, maybe an attacker has a bot, a service out there running on the internet scanning to try to auto break stuff. And maybe you just put something there that's just doing some packet capturing, and all of a sudden you start capturing attack attempts, and then you review what the attack looked like, and now you are learning methods or ways that attackers would normally be initiating an attack against an outdated Nginx server. I hope that makes sense. I hope that this has been a useful video in any way to anyone, and this is just totally free education for anyone and everyone. Have fun.